Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Accommodation Show. This is the mini-series with the wonderful Justin Ford. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it was good to see you again. You know, last time you and I did this was in Boise, Idaho, like 9,000 kilometers from here.
This is true, and we were talking about the fact that we have seen each other in many, many different countries. We've been to Canada together. We went to Boise. We went to Orlando. We went to Vegas. We went to Phoenix, Arizona, and here we are at the Hit Stay Conference in Australia. This is your first time in Oz?
Yes, it is, and it's been a great visit so far.
It's pretty interesting, huh? You've seen kangaroos, you've seen koalas, you've seen some snakes as well.
Not in the behind glass.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay. But still, you've seen some of our native wildlife. Justin, it's great to have you here in Australia, and I know that you're a passionate advocate for all things safety for short-term rentals, safety in general as well, looking after people. I know that your career has been in that vein for a long time, so I guess it's quite a privilege for you to be leading that conversation over here for us. So thank you for coming. And I think it's very, very important that we do look at safety and that we bring it to the forefront. Now, so I guess part of the story is, folks, if you haven't seen what Justin does, it's a YouTube search away, right? Like we don't have to cover the same ground. But what I really wanted to do whilst we're here is to really get some tips out of you, because we're at the end of the year and I want people to have a think about what they're doing for 2024 and 2025. So things that can be practical for people to do, maybe within their business, maybe the top 3 tips of maybe safety related that they could do tomorrow that might make an impact on their business.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that probably surprises people when I first start talking about safety is marketing. Okay. I thought we were here to talk about safety, now you're talking about marketing. But actually, more and more research is showing that marketing your property is safe is a great way to get some bookings. And so there's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah. So when you say marketing, what are we talking about?
Well, there's one thing to make your property safe, but when you can showcase and say, I have committed to making sure that my guests are going to have a safe experience. You know, we're doing regular checks of our smoke alarms, our fire extinguisher placements. We care about you. And when you come stay with us, you're going to have a great experience. People want to hear that. Guests want to hear that.
Yeah. I think that's really important. I think it's the same, for me, it's that same sort of marketing as I think the hotels have done it very well. The product is very well known as what you're going to get. You stay in a motel. For me personally, I feel like the marketing isn't as strong and you're kind of rolling the dice a little bit more. And I feel that with short-term rentals, when you do come and stay, you are rolling the dice with many different things. For one, am I going to get into the property?
Right.
And that's kind of like one of the first things. Is it going to be the way that I expect it to be? Recently I stayed in a place and the pictures weren't the same ones as where I was staying because they put pictures up of a different unit from the one that I was in, and I had to have that argument there. And I think that when we talk about safety and that sort of thing, it's one of those things that I think people want to assume that it's always that they are going to be safe, but that might not always be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the opportunities that I'm actually going to be talking about here while I'm in Australia is one that we've just recently identified. And that is 64% of people who've never stayed in a short-term rental.
Yeah.
One of the reasons they haven't is because of safety, concerns about safety. So think about all the people that are out there, because so many other aspects of travel, whether it's the cruise industry, the airline industry, hotel industry, their marketing was safety.
Yeah, okay.
Safety is important. We're not doing enough of that in this industry, but imagine how many more people we can bring in to use our product to stay in our homes if we convince them that their experience is going to be a safe one, something they haven't considered before.
That's incredible, because also I guess there's a lot of negative press that surrounds our industry, and it's a really I think very easy clickbait, to be honest. You know, something happens in a short-term rental or vacation rental, and all of a sudden it hits the papers, and they just run with it, and people will click on it and share it and be like, "Oh, can't stay there." But the same way that if someone gets bitten by a shark, right? Like it happens so rarely, but it's going to make all the front pages.
Yes.
Or if there's an airplane that has an accident, like it happens once in a blue moon, but then obviously it gets all the coverage. And it's the same thing with our industry, right?
We tune into what we want to tune into. I totally believe that. But as an American coming to Australia, one of the things that we see the most in the news about Australia are shark attacks. We have more shark attacks actually in Florida than there are in Australia.
Sure.
Yet, that's an image we have, or a crocodile attack, because those are sensational things. We have to remember, fortunately for Australia, there hasn't been that big sensational news stories yet about something terrible happening in a short-term rental. So Australia's living kind of right now in a little bit of a glory day of an if.
Yeah.
I'm here because I'm going to tell you there's going to be a when, and when you have that when, you want to be prepared, because the when is going to be something that this country is going to have to deal with, and it's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so so that's one of the tips. So improve your marketing, or think about marketing, and that you can actually have a financial win out of improving your safety. Not only just kind of fixing the negative, but actually turning into a positive financially. Any other tips for 2025 for our listeners?
My big word right now is what we're talking about here at the conference is anticipate. Go into your property and anticipate how your guests are going to use it, because they're not going to use it the same as the way you think they are. And when you break down and look at your property in a whole different light, that, you know what, someone's coming in here who's never been here before. We know the statistics. We know that people are injured the most likely in the first hour because they're not familiar with it. If we can anticipate their needs more than what we think we would do in the property, we're going to prevent some of these incidents from happening and make sure that these guests are safe, because that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
We just want them to be safe.
So get into the property, get yourself in the guest shoes, and then that's going to be one of the first things. And then I guess my last tip, because this is a mini episode, is follow Justin Ford so that you can see what he's up to, what sort of changes he's making to the industry, and things that you need to be on top of. Justin, what's the best way for people to keep in touch with you?
Short-term rental safety. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook, and certainly on LinkedIn as well. I'm very active in all three channels. I love some of the things I've been doing. In fact, I got to do a safety reel with Bart here on my short-term rental safety. I'm going to come up with something before I leave with Australia.
He'll come over to my house and tear it apart.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, folks. If you are listening on the podcast, make sure you leave us a rating. Really appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, there's a little button just below here, I think it is. Click that one, and that way you'll be subscribed, which really helps us out with creating content like this. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you, Bart. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.